Hello chess friends, today we are going to see 3 games from the 100 classical attacking games. So let's start. The first game is Keres versus Zabo. He was a like Keres was an amazing player. He started with e4, e5, c4, knight f6, knight f3, g6, b3. Now bishop b2, knight c3, d4, e4. Then e5 is the idea of this b3 move. So now black played bishop to g7. Black wants to also get the equal share of the diagonal. Bishop to b2, short castle, g3. Now d6, d4, and now c5. This pawn is under attack. Black breaks the center. Bishop g2, knight e4. This this b2 bishop is under a pin, so white can't take on c5 or d5. Castle, knight c6, knight b d2, knight d2, queen d2, bishop g4. Now black is threatening to exchange the defender of the d4 pawn, so it will become weak. Now d5, bishop into b2, queen into b2, bishop into f3, bishop into f3. Now black's knight will be offside after any knight e5 or knight b8 move, and white bishop would be pretty good here, and well, there can be chances of h4, h5 and h6 later on. So knight e5, h4, white immediately start the attack. b5, now getting a break, black also efficiently counters. C into b5, queen b6, c4. It may look like white structure is spoiled, but no, if you play c4, which seems natural, but then b4 comes, strong move. And now white has a pawn majority on the queen side and also his pawn up. So a4 was played, a6, again countering. Now h5. White also starts the attack. ab5, ab5, hg6, king g2. Interesting idea, wanting to get rook h1 and then queen to h8 will be made. Yeah. So f6, rook h1, king g7, ab5, queen d5, queen d2, g5, queen e3, queen d7, and bishop g4. Interesting. White wants to sack one bishop. If takes on g4, then queen into e7 check. King g6, then queen h7 is mate. Yeah, so you can't take over here, and after queen e7 is king g8, then also queen h7 mate. So after bishop g4, queen c7 was played, bishop f5, but now it's too late to defend because king f7, rook h7 check, king e8, rook a h1. Now white brings the pieces, rook to h8. Oops, rook to h8 is the threat, and then this file has enormous pressure, the 8th rank. Queen b7, rook h8, and now black resigned because the threat of rook into f8 check followed by rook h8 check is impossible to defend with from. So, well, this was the game. Moving on to the next game. The next game is between Porges and Lasker. Yeah, as you know him, Emmanuel Lasker. He is one of the greatest players chess has ever seen, and his games are so instructive and interesting that I even can't believe when I see some of his games. Like the one against Pillsbury, he just sacrificed two rooks. I was like, what did he do by sacrificing? But then came his deep idea. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6. The Berlin defense in the Ruy Lopez. Caruana dabbles with it very often. If you see, you will see Carlsen versus Caruana. Yeah, see Carlsen versus Caruana. Carlsen versus the top is dominated by these two players. Yeah. So well, castle, knight into e4, d4, bishop e7, queen e2, knight e6, bishop into c6, b into c6. This is well called the Rio de Janeiro variation of the Berlin defense. So not that bad. D into e5, knight to b7, like that move is awkward, man. Why was it played is the main line. The knight looks awkward in theirs, but Grishchuk and Carlsen have played it. Morozevich, okay. There should be some idea. Actually, I think the idea is to play knight c5 then bishop a6, and to get a very healthy bishop pair, and then castle and do d6, and then take. So black will get a very healthy bishop pair over there. So well, awkward move, but well, sometimes we have to do it. b3, castle, bishop b2, d5, ed6, cd6. Yeah. Now knight d2, rook to e8, rook e1, bishop d7, knight e4, d5. Now this knight is under attack. If you move this knight somewhere, then the bishop comes with a discovery like on a3 and wins the b2 one. So that's the whole idea of the problem. Let's see if some game has been played. No, this is called the Pillsbury variation. From where? Actually, there was continuing the Rio de Janeiro, but I think there's a variation under a variation. See, so the Pillsbury variation. See, it was Rio de Janeiro. B3 is the Pillsbury variation. B3. This move. Sutovsky and Malakov has played it. Okay, then no problem. Burks has played it. Borislavevko, well, Romanishin, Sergei Simagin. Not that bad game. Sonisker Wolfgang has played. Barry Yevgeny has played it in 1987. Then Lev Saskis has played it. Like renowned players have played this line. If we see, yeah. Now castle, bishop b2, d5, ed6, qc. So we had arrived at this d5 move. Now knight d2 was played. Yeah, that was the idea. But now bishop a3, bishop e5. That was the idea of the whole move. That you allow bishop a3 and then play bishop e5. But now f6 and then queen a6. See this knight. But well, f into e5. Now white can choose taking this a3 bishop or the b7 knight. White took the a3 bishop, e4, knight d4, queen f6. This knight is again attacked, c3, rook f8. Now some kind of attack here, f2 is threatened. Now f3 was played, queen to g5. Now d2 is threatened. Why Laskar is not giving him even 1 second to breach. Now knight to c5, knight to d3 is the threat. From 3 moves continuously, he is generating some threats and threats. So white can't take even a breath. Knight f1, queen g6. Now again the threat is knight g3 and knight d3, and even g into f3 is the threat. So there are too many threats that white can't just stop them. Rook e3, white does a multifunctional move, knight d3. Now the queen is under attack. The queen moves. Now g2 is now there's the threat of mate on g2. Now knight g3, h5. Now the threat is that you play h4 and then take on g2 with the queen and it deliver checkmate. Now knight e2. Now knight into g2. The threat is that after king into g2 you play g into f3 check, and if rook into f3 then bishop h3 e check, and then you win the rook. King into g2, e to f3 check. Now there's a check on the board. Rook into f3, bishop to h3 check. Now the king is under again check. King into h3, rook, queen g4 check. Again under check. Now queen into f3 check. King g1 only move, king h3, then g5 was coming. h4 always generate threats. Now this knight is under attack. Knight h1, then queen e3 check. The king is again under check. Black has been generating threats from this queen g5 move, from the 21st move to the 23rd move. He's been continuously generating threats and threats. He never allowed Porges to even take a breath after the 19th move. This is called the art of attacking. Never let the opponent take even a breath. So moving on to the next game, this is the game I saved for the 750th episode. This is the game between Reshevsky and Vaganian, which is called Vaganian's Immortal Game. Now e4, e6, d4, d5, knight d2, knight f6, you will say French, okay, no problem, e5, knight d7, f4, c5, the classical variation, c3, knight c6, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, Tarrasch variation, pawn center variation. A variation under a variation. So knight df3, queen to a5, king to f2. It's a awkward move at first, but it has a very deep idea. Yeah, like see, Postage has played it, Robert Hubner and Oleg Korniev, Reshevsky versus Vaganian, this 1976 game. Vaganian has also played it himself with Black as he played in this game. So, well, quickly we'll take the black side because Vaganian played an immortal game attacking the king. So king f2 may seem awkward at first, but it's an interesting idea to try. Bishop e7, bishop d3, queen b6, knight e2, but at the same time it's risky also. f6, e into f6, bishop into f6. It's a principle that whenever the king is in the opponent's king is in the center, you must almost always open the center, yeah, to your favor. But almost always, why? Because sometimes it can be wrong. C into d4, c into d4, short castle. Now see, such a bad position. The king is on g3. Black's king has castled. His bishop is developed. The d4 pawn is under enormous pressure by these three pieces. Yeah, just wanting to storm this pawn. This rook can be activated. h5, h4 is returned, and the king is in such a bad position. This is at least -3. Eh? It's equal. I think the engine doesn't understand the philosophy of this. Okay, it's not a equal question. It's not a equal question, man. Come on. Rook e1, e5. Interesting, eh? The point of this move is that the point of this move is the d4 pawn, the f4 pawn, both are threatened, and also e4 is threatened. So well, three threats at the same time. F into e5, knight into e5. That's why it is called the immortal game. Now let's see what's the evaluation of the engine. Minus 4.2. What happened to you, eh? I think he understood the position. See, e5 was there. Now f into e5. He says that f into e5 is a blunder. Very well done. Okay. So now the engine understood the philosophy of the position. Now bishop to h4 check. Like after all these three sacrifices, his opponent was like, "Are you serious? What are you doing? Just sacrificing piece out of piece." And this is not even for a pawn. It's just a free sacrifice. The first sacrifice was also a free one. The second was also a free one. He is down 6 points now. Rook into f3. Man, this is crazy. You sacrificed a knight, a bishop. Then you are sacrificing a rook for a knight. I think he is gone amazed. Queen to b4 check, bishop to f4, queen e7 check, bishop to g5, queen e6. Still that rook hanging. Bishop to f5, rook into f5, knight to f4, queen into e5, queen to g4, rook to f7, queen to h5, knight e7. Now knight f5 check is the threat. So g4, knight g6, king g3, bishop d7, rook a e1, queen to d6, bishop h6, rook a f8, and now white designed. What an amazing game that was! Oh my god! Yeah. So well, moving on. Today is the birthday of Indian revolutionary, Chandrasekhar Azad. He was an Indian revolutionary who gave his life at the mere age of 24. Yeah. So coming on to the facts, he was born on 1900 and he was born in 1906. Yeah. And he was influenced by the ideas of Bhagat Singh. Yeah. By the works and also the ideas of Bhagat Singh. And after Bhagat Singh died, his association for freeing the India, yeah, was renamed by Chandrasekhar from Indian Nationalist Association to Indian Freedom Army, something like that. So then he died when he was meeting with he was going to meet with some of his revolutionary colleagues in the Alfred Park. They had a meeting there, and the police when got news about it, they stormed the park. And well, Azad had much ammunition, but at last when he had only one bullet, he didn't shoot one of the officers but shot himself. Here, he shot himself. It was a supreme sacrifice because he didn't want to be captured by the Britishers. Yeah, so these were the facts about him. Today is also Durga Ashtami, and yeah, because today is Falgun Shukla Art, and well, this was the game. I hope you like. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you.